The board is buzzing and the value is everywhere. We've got 3 matchups that deserve a magnifying glass and a bankroll behind them. Phillies vs Yankees isn't just a high-profile interleague clash, it's a game dripping with offensive firepower, matchup volatility, and sharp angles hidden beneath the surface stats. Then we dive into Royals vs Guardians, a sneaky Al Central tilt that's not flashy on paper but is an absolute goldmine for strikeout props and early inning totals. And to round it out, Tigers vs Blue Jays serves up one of the most underrated pitcher versus lineup chess matches of the day. Whether you're betting first 5 totals, digging into home run props, or hunting total base value, these games aren't just part of the slate, they're the blueprint for building profit in the middle of the summer grind. We've done the research, run the splits, and track the trends so you don't have to. Let's break these down the right way: sharp, tactical, and built for value. Game 1. Philadelphia Phillies Christopher Sanchez vs New York Yankees Nestor Cortes. Pitching matchup and park factor insight. Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phillies, bringing his deceptive southpaw approach into Yankee Stadium, a notorious power haven, especially for right-handed hitters. On the mound for the Yankees is Nestor Cortes, who has been dominant at home this season but continues to show inconsistencies when dealing with teams that hit well against lefties, particularly those with power up the middle and pull-side threat from the right. Yankee Stadium ranks consistently in the top 5 for home run frequency, especially to right field with its short porch, which should factor into both teams' offensive game plans. Weather-wise, the early forecasts call for light wind blowing out to right field and temps in the low 80s. While not extreme, these conditions subtly favor long balls to the pull side, a major detail when you consider the type of contact hitters like Bryce Harper and Alec Boehm generate. Sanchez has pitched much better on the road this year, with a road ERA of 2.92 compared to 3.66 at home, and he brings elite soft contact metrics and ground ball rate into a stadium where that profile is essential. His 53.2% ground ball rate is among the top 10% of starting pitchers in MLB. Still, his strikeout numbers remain modest, averaging 7.4 K/9, which limits his ceiling for punchouts unless he can get chases on his changeup. Nestor Cortes, meanwhile, has shown a high home-road split. His ERA at Yankee Stadium sits at 2.88, while he's struggled to a 4.91 mark elsewhere. He thrives on deception and command rather than overpowering velocity, but Cortes has been getting hit hard by lefty power bats who can stay back and drive his cutter. In his last 3 starts, he's surrendered 6 home runs, 5 of which came off the bats of left-handed hitters. Philadelphia's balanced lineup could pose a challenge, especially if the hot-hitting Harper and Bryson Stott stay aggressive early in counts. Tactical game breakdown. The Phillies' offense enters this matchup on a tear, ranking top 5 in the league in ops over the last 2 weeks. Bryce Harper is scorching hot and slugging over .700 in July with 4 homers in his last 7 games. His recent surge against left-handed pitching is especially notable. For the season, Harper is hitting .292 with a .520 slugging percentage against southpaws. Alec Boehm and Nick Castellanos have also been heating up, and with J.T. Realmuto returning from injury, this lineup is once again deep and versatile, capable of producing from all parts of the order. Philadelphia has made a noticeable shift in plate discipline over the last month, swinging at fewer pitches out of the zone and focusing on elevating the ball. That spells trouble for a fly ball pitcher like Cortes, who gives up 1.38 HR/9 this season. In games where he fails to locate his fastball inside, right-handed hitters with pull power have punished him, an area Boehm, Castellanos, and even Realmuto can exploit. The Phillies also walk at a 9.8% clip, and Cortes has struggled with command in tight spots, particularly the 3rd time through the order. The Yankees, on the other hand, continue to ride Aaron Judge and Juan Soto as their offensive engine, but the supporting cast has gone ice cold. Gleyber Torres is batting under .180 over the past 20 games, while Anthony Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton have battled inconsistency and minor injuries. That makes them heavily reliant on power surges from their stars. Against Sanchez, who avoids barrels and keeps the ball on the ground, the Yankees may struggle to manufacture runs if they don't cash in on early base runners. What's more, the Phillies' bullpen is well rested and has been stellar in high-leverage spots, anchored by Jose Alvarado and Jeff Hoffman. If Sanchez can get through 5 clean innings, the back end of the Phillies' pen has a clear edge over the Yankees' middle relief, which has blown 3 late-game leads this week alone. Michael Tonkin and Ron Marinaccio have been especially hittable in middle innings, and in a tightly contested game, those matchups could swing momentum. Defensively, the Phillies have cleaned up errors and rank top 10 in defensive runs saved, while the Yankees have slipped to 23rd in that metric. A couple of botched infield plays have cost them games recently, and that inefficiency could be amplified with a contact-heavy Phillies lineup applying pressure. This is a critical interleague showdown between 2 playoff-caliber teams with clear identity contrasts. The Phillies win with contact and pitching depth, while the Yankees rely on power and home dominance. But on this day, with both teams sending left-handed starters, it's the depth and discipline of the Phillies lineup that projects better in the ballpark context and matchup dynamics. Best bet, over 8.5 total runs -115. This number opened at 8 and was quickly bet up. The combination of 2 lefties with homer-prone profiles, strong weather conditions for offense, and 2 bullpens trending in opposite directions creates a favorable environment for a higher-scoring game. Philadelphia's lineup is disciplined and deep enough to get to Cortes early, while the Yankees' top bats always pose a threat to go deep, especially Judge and Soto. Strikeout props. Nestor Cortes over 5.5 strikeouts +110. Despite recent HR issues, Cortes has been generating strikeouts against patient lineups, including a 7K outing against the Red Sox and 6 punchouts against Houston. The Phillies strike out more than league average against lefties, 24.7%, and if Cortes can survive early, the volume is there for 6 strikeouts. Christopher Sanchez under 4.5 strikeouts -125. Sanchez is a contact manager, not a swing-and-miss artist. While he's effective in limiting damage, he rarely racks up high K games. The Yankees, for all their flaws, don't chase as much as in years past and could grind his pitch count up, forcing him out by the 5th. Home run props. Bryce Harper to hit a home run +390. Harper has punished cutters and low-velocity four-seamers, which are Cortes' go-to pitches. With his current form, Yankee Stadium's dimensions, and Cortes' our tendencies against lefties, Harper has a great profile to go deep. Aaron Judge to hit a home run +325. Even against lefties like Sanchez, Judge maintains elite expected slugging. With the wind out to right field and Sanchez's changeup floating in the zone at times, Judge could capitalize on a mistake in the middle of the plate. Total bases props. Alec Bohm over 1.5 total bases +120. Bohm has been red hot and loves facing finesse pitchers who rely on cutters and command. He's hitting .318 over his last 15 games and has multiple hits in 4 of his last 6. His gap-to-gap power plays well in Yankee Stadium. Juan Soto over 1.5 total bases -105. Soto has crushed lefties this year and leads the league in hard hit rate since the All-Star break. He's seeing the ball extremely well and gets a favorable park boost against Sanchez. Bonus run line angles. Phillies +1.5 run line -145. With the way their bullpen is trending and how well they match up with Cortes, the Phillies staying within 1 run, if not winning outright, feels like strong value. Even if Sanchez gets chased, the bullpen can keep it close. First 5 innings over 4.5 runs -110. Both starters have exploitable matchups early, and both offenses are top 10 in runs scored in the first 5 innings this month. This may cash by the 3rd or 4th frame. SGP parlay, payout +525 range. Phillies ML. Bryce Harper 2+ total bases. Nestor Cortes 5+ strikeouts. This parlay hinges on Harper continuing his tear and Cortes surviving long enough to rack up strikeouts even if he allows runs. With Harper locked in and Cortes' recent K efficiency, the path is realistic. Final score prediction. Phillies 6, Yankees 4. Philadelphia's offense has the better matchup against Cortes, and their bullpen gives them the late inning edge. The Yankees may get one or two big swings, but unless they capitalize early, Sanchez's ground ball tendencies and a deep Phillies pen will hold. Expect Harper and Bohm to drive the action in what should be a tightly played, slightly high-scoring affair. Game 2. Kansas City Royals vs. Cleveland Guardians. The Royals hand the ball to Brady Singer, a right-handed sinkerballer who's spent most of 2025 trying to rediscover the form that made him Kansas City's most reliable starter back in 2022. On the other side, the Cleveland Guardians will counter with right-hander Tanner Bibee, who's rapidly developed into a top-tier rotation anchor. This is a stylistic clash between Singer's ground-ball-heavy, contact-oriented approach and Bibee's rising strikeout arsenal and attack-first mentality. Kauffman Stadium plays large, especially in terms of home runs. It consistently ranks in the bottom 5 for long balls thanks to deep alleys and a humid, heavy atmosphere in day games. However, its expansive outfield creates real value for doubles and triples, favoring hitters who can go gap to gap or take advantage of pitchers who give up line drives. With both starters showing signs of vulnerability to line drive contact lately, expect plenty of base hits and scoring opportunities through sharp singles and extra base hits into the alleys. Singer has shown two faces this season. When he's locating his sinker at the knees and getting weak contact early in the count, he can cruise through 6 efficient innings. But when he falls behind or loses his command, his lack of elite velocity and swing-and-miss stuff catches up with him. His ERA currently hovers around 4.42, and his ZERA is an even more concerning 4.89. He's allowing a .282 opponent batting average, and teams are slugging .454 against him when they see him a second time through the order. His ground ball rate has dipped from 52% last year to under 46% this season, and that's led to longer innings and higher pitch counts early. Tanner Bibee, on the other hand, has taken a massive leap in his second full MLB season. With a mid-90s fastball that plays up due to late ride and a filthy slider generating a 39% whiff rate, Bibee has given Cleveland a strikeout threat they haven't had since Shane Bieber's peak. He enters this matchup with a 3.14 ERA and 1.12 WHIP, along with 121 strikeouts in 106 innings. He's particularly strong against right-handed hitters, holding them to a .202 batting average. However, he has allowed damage to lefties who lift the ball, and his fly ball tendencies could backfire if he leaves pitches elevated in hitters' counts. Tactical game breakdown. The Royals are quietly putting together a respectable offensive stretch, especially at home. Bobby Witt Jr. has become one of the most dangerous leadoff hitters in baseball, combining blazing speed with gap power and elite contact rates. His ability to stretch singles into doubles or score from first on a bloop creates pressure on defenses. Vinny Pasquantino has also begun to round into form after an early season slump, and MJ Melendez is coming off a 5-game stretch where he's posted an OPS over 1.000. Still, Kansas City's offense lacks consistent punch against right-handed pitchers with plus strikeout stuff. As a team, they rank 24th in the league in on-base percentage against righties, and they swing at more pitches outside the strike zone than all but 2 teams in MLB. Bibee's ability to command the zone with 2-strike sliders and climb the ladder with his 4-seam fastball should allow him to generate chases, especially against the bottom half of the order. Cleveland enters this matchup with a distinctly different offensive profile: low strikeout rates, high contact, and opportunistic base running. They don't blow teams away with home runs, but the Guardians have made a living off working counts, putting balls in play, and forcing defenses to make plays. Jose Ramirez remains the heartbeat of the offense, a switch hitter who continues to generate elite power numbers from both sides of the plate. Behind him, Josh Naylor and Andres Gimenez have been clutch in late-game spots, and they've been excellent at hitting to all fields, an ideal profile for a park like Kauffman. Against Singer, Cleveland's approach could frustrate the right-hander. The Guardians are top 5 in MLB in swing rate on first-pitch strikes and have the league's 3rd lowest strikeout rate against sinker-heavy pitchers. They've hit .278 against righties who rely on sinker, changeup combinations and could pepper Singer for early runs if he's not precise with his location. Defensively, Kansas City has been a league-average unit, but their corner outfielders have graded poorly in range and positioning, which could lead to extra bases for Cleveland's aggressive hitters. Another key factor is bullpen usage. Kansas City's relief corps has been overtaxed this month, with multiple high-leverage arms having pitched 3 times in the past 5 days. Cleveland, on the other hand, comes in well-rested with Eli Morgan and Emmanuel Clase both fresh. If this game remains close heading into the 7th, the Guardians have a notable late-game edge. Best bet: Guardians moneyline -125. This number is short for the better starter, better bullpen, and more fundamentally sound team. Bibee gives the Guardians a strikeout and control edge, and Cleveland's ability to grind out plate appearances could wear down Singer early. With Clase waiting at the back end and Cleveland's contact-heavy approach fitting well in Kauffman Stadium, the value lies with the road favorite. Strikeout props: Tanner Bibee over 6.5 strikeouts +105. Bibee has cleared this number in 6 of his last 8 starts against teams with high chase rates. The Royals swing at the 8th most pitches out of the zone in baseball, and Bibee's slider and elevated fastball should generate enough whiffs to get him to 7 or more strikeouts. Brady Singer under 4.5 strikeouts -120. Singer has struck out more than 4 batters just once in his last 5 outings. The Guardians rarely swing and miss, especially against sinkerballers, and Singer doesn't have a true put-away pitch against lefties. Expect lots of early contact and short at-bats that cap his K upside. Home run props: Jose Ramirez to hit a home run +450. Ramirez continues to be Cleveland's most dangerous extra base threat. He's posted a .586 slugging percentage against right-handed pitchers this season and has hit 4 home runs in his last 10 games. Singer's sinker has flattened in recent starts, and Ramirez can capitalize with a pull-side bomb to right center. MJ Melendez to hit a home run +525. Melendez has the raw power to leave any park, and he's been seeing the ball well over the past week. Bibee occasionally gets tagged by lefties who turn around his elevated heaters, and Melendez profiles as the type of hitter who can ambush a mistake up in the zone. Total bases props: Bobby Witt Jr. over 1.5 total bases +110. Witt's blend of speed and power makes him a constant multi-base threat. Even without a home run, he can turn a walk into a double or leg out a triple into the gap. He's hitting .307 with a .510 slugging rate against right-handed pitching this season and should get at least 2 plate appearances against Bibee's secondary offerings. Josh Naylor over 1.5 total bases +125. Naylor has torched righties all year and does his best work when pitchers work down in the zone, exactly where Singer likes to live. He's quietly riding a 9-game hitting streak and has 5 doubles in that span. Bonus run line angles: Guardians -1.5 alt run line +150. If Bibee delivers the dominant outing expected, Cleveland could pull away late, especially with the edge in the bullpen. With Ramirez and Naylor swinging hot bats and the Royals' bullpen showing signs of fatigue, the Guardians have real potential to win by 2 or more runs. First 5 innings under 4.5 runs -105. Singer may survive the first few innings on weak contact, and Bibee's ability to rack up Ks should suppress the Royals early. In a big ballpark with limited early game fireworks historically, the under is in play here. SGP parlay payout approximately +600. Guardians moneyline: Tanner Bibee 6+ strikeouts. Josh Naylor 2+ total bases. This combination takes advantage of Cleveland's strengths: elite contact, strong starting pitching, and a clutch middle-of-the-order bat. If Bibee controls the game and Naylor does his part in the heart of the order, this SGP can cash without needing a blowout. Final score prediction: Guardians 5, Royals 2. Cleveland's consistent contact and tactical discipline should neutralize Singer's sinker-heavy approach, and Bibee's command gives the Guardians the upper hand through 6 innings. Add in the bullpen edge and a few timely doubles from Ramirez or Naylor, and Cleveland should control this game from the 4th inning on. The Royals lineup may get a few shots in, but barring defensive miscues or early damage off Bibee, the Guardians are in the driver's seat. Game 3. Detroit Tigers vs. Toronto Blue Jays. Coming off a tight and sometimes erratic first 2 games in this series, the Detroit Tigers and Toronto Blue Jays are both in desperate need of consistency as we enter this third showdown. The Blue Jays have fought all season with expectations far outweighing results, while the Tigers, still very much in the midst of a rebuild, have flirted with contention by maximizing their rotation and playing grittier baseball than many expected. Both clubs are hovering in that awkward mid-season territory where one solid series could catapult them into the wild card mix, and this game carries that type of urgency. The pitching matchup is particularly intriguing here, as young Tigers righty Reese Olson brings a deceptive arsenal into enemy territory against the veteran command of Chris Bassitt. Reese Olson has quietly become a stabilizing arm in Detroit's rotation. With a mid-90s fastball that pairs nicely with a diving changeup and a slider that can miss bats against both lefties and righties, Olson has seen increased whiff rates and has allowed fewer barrels than most pitchers his age. While his surface-level era might look a bit inflated from a couple of rough starts against elite lineups earlier in the season, Olson's FIP and ZERA metrics suggest he's been considerably better than the numbers show. Toronto's offense is heavy with right-handed bats that feast on mistake fastballs, so Olson's success will hinge on his ability to locate that changeup down and away while avoiding falling into predictable patterns in hitters' counts. He has shown the ability to strike out batters at an above-average clip, especially when his slider is tunneling well off his heater. On the flip side, Chris Bassitt remains one of the most enigmatic arms in the Blue Jays rotation. He doesn't blow hitters away with velocity but instead mixes 8 different pitches with elite command and sequencing. When Bassitt is locating, particularly the cutter and sinker to either edge, he can induce soft contact and keep the ball in the park. The issue this year has been inconsistency with command, particularly when facing teams that don't chase as aggressively, like the Tigers. Detroit has shown better plate discipline this season, particularly from young bats like Riley Green and Colt Keith, and they've done well against right-handers who pitch backwards, as Bassitt often does. This could be a sneaky tough matchup for him, especially if his cutter isn't biting. Toronto's offense has been a Jekyll and Hyde act. When Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette are dialed in, the lineup can snowball runs with ease. However, the power has been surprisingly absent at times this year, and with Danny Jansen and George Springer both enduring prolonged slumps, the Jays have relied heavily on timely doubles and bloop singles. The addition of Davis Schneider's spark and Justin Turner's veteran presence has helped, but it hasn't masked the lack of home run punch that was supposed to be a strength in Rogers Center. This matchup might be one where the Jays look to manufacture runs rather than lean into the long ball. Detroit's offense isn't flashy, but it's scrappy. Green has been one of the most improved hitters in the AL, flashing power to all fields and improved zone control. Spencer Torkelson hasn't broken out as expected, but there's still plenty of underlying power in his bat, and his expected stats suggest some positive regression could be coming. Kerry Carpenter adds left-handed thump, and if the Tigers can get any production from the bottom third, namely from Javier Baez or Carson Kelly, they could put pressure on Bassitt early. It wouldn't be shocking to see Detroit play some small ball to capitalize on early base runners. The bullpen edge here actually leans slightly toward Detroit. Jason Foley, Shelby Miller, and Alex Lang form a quietly effective trio late in games, and the Tigers have done a solid job bridging to the 9th inning when leading after 6. Toronto's bullpen has been a bit shakier, especially with Eric Swanson underperforming and Jordan Romano still working back from injury. Yimi Garcia and Chad Green have held things down, but any outing where Bassitt doesn't go 6 innings might test Toronto's depth in a way that opens the door for Detroit to steal a win late. Best bet: Tigers first 5 innings plus 0.5. Given Olson's strikeout upside and Bassitt's vulnerability against patient left-handed hitters, we like Detroit to keep this game competitive early. The Tigers have often performed better in the first 5 innings than over full games, and Olson's ability to neutralize the top of Toronto's lineup gives us confidence they can at least hold even through 5. Strikeout prop: Reese Olson over 5.5 kiloseconds. Olson has gone over this number in 4 of his last 6 starts, and Toronto's lineup has been striking out at a higher rate in July, particularly against sliders and changeups. With Olson having success tunneling those pitches, he should be able to rack up swings and misses, especially in the middle innings. Home run prop: Riley Green to hit a home run. Green has been hammering right-handed pitching over the last 3 weeks and has looked particularly locked in against slower sinker-cutter combos, exactly what Bassett throws. He's got the power to go yard in Rogers Center, especially to the pull side. Total bases pick. Bo Bichette over 1.5 total bases. Despite his inconsistencies this year, Bichette's contact ability remains elite. He's been swinging the bat better over the last 2 weeks, and Olson's changeup could play into his ability to drop line drives into both gaps. Expect at least one double or a multi-hit game. Bonus bet. Both teams to score 3+ runs. Both pitchers can miss bats, but they also give up enough hard contact when they miss location to allow crooked numbers. With how Toronto performs at home and Detroit's ability to nickel and dime runs together, this is a strong value angle. SGP parlay leg suggestions, FanDuel style, around +500 to +800. Riley Green to record a hit. Bo Bichette over 1.5 total bases. Reese Olson over 5.5 kiloseconds. Tigers +1.5 run line. This builds a solid parlay around correlated outcomes where Olson keeps the Tigers in the game, Green produces early, and Bichette gets damage control swings later. Final score prediction. Tigers 5, Blue Jays 4. This one should be tight. Detroit's young arms have hung tough against tougher lineups, and while Toronto is still dangerous at home, we believe Olson's slider and changeup combo match up well enough to hold the Blue Jays in check. With Bassett walking a tightrope of command, we lean toward Detroit keeping this game close, and possibly stealing it late thanks to the bullpen. The board is buzzing and the value is everywhere. We've got 3 matchups that deserve a magnifying glass and a bankroll behind them. Phillies versus Yankees isn't just a high-profile interleague clash, it's a game dripping with offensive firepower, matchup volatility, and sharp angles hidden beneath the surface stats. Then we dive into Royals versus Guardians, a sneaky Al Central tilt that's not flashy on paper but is an absolute goldmine for strikeout props and early inning totals. And to round it out, Tigers versus Blue Jays serves up one of the most underrated pitcher versus lineup chess matches of the day. Whether you're betting first 5 totals, digging into home run props, or hunting total base value, these games aren't just part of the slate, they're the blueprint for building profit in the middle of the summer grind. We've done the research, run the splits, and tracked the trends so you don't have to. Let's break these down the right way, sharp, tactical, and built for value.